Hi, it's Joe with another episode of Synergy's Accidentally Fit podcast. And I was driving in this morning thinking about the biggest things that I can do to help impact your life and your fitness. The biggest information I can teach today and make it practical for you. And I just ran right into the office and wanted to get this done because I was excited to share this with you. And it's a concept we've talked about, and it's actually a concept that has led to the name of this podcast is Accidentally Fit. But it uses and could use a deeper explanation. So here's our three concepts for today. Number one, big habits. Number two, small habits. And number three, one habit. And this is going to go in a direction that I don't think you'd expect. So listen to the whole 10 minutes or so as I go on. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is big habits and why I don't like the perception of big habits. So there's a reason why we don't share like top level athlete stories on our Facebook page. And we've had some top level athletes, some major league ball players come through the gym, and we share and shout them out so they can feel good about their accomplishments, but we don't do it in a way to intentionally say like that's the ideal that everyone needs to strive to. And that can be demotivating for people. So if I were to say, look at a Major League Baseball player in the ninth inning, 2 outs, come up to bat, pressure's on, the crowd's going wild, and they take a beautiful swing, hit the ball out of the park, and that team wins the game. That's the culmination of a whole lifetime of training, a whole lifetime of habits, a whole lifetime of hand-eye coordination, getting ready for that moment, being able to block out the crowd and rise to the occasion. And if you see that as someone who's sitting home thinking, you know what, I want to play ball, say, wow, I could never do that. And it's almost demotivating. It is demotivating because it's not practical for you to say, I need that to be able to do that without seeing all the habits that went into it and during the lifetime to be able to accomplish that one event. So when we hold up those one events as a standard to try to reach to, it can encourage people not to even try. Because I'm going to tell you the truth right now, there is no one habit that you can do that'll let you do that next week. There's no one habit that you can start doing today that will put you in the ninth inning with 2 outs to be able to swing and crush a home run. That's just not going to happen. And as we think about that and we see that it's not going to happen, we decide to do nothing. Because those big habits, we think, oh, well, you know what, we're getting too old. It's too difficult for us to get up and do. It's too challenging. I have too many speed bumps in my life to be able to accomplish that what I'm seeing on TV. And again, you're right. You're absolutely right. And that becomes demotivating. So what I need you to focus on are the small habits. First, realize that whomever is doing that great feat has had a lifetime of small habits. So that's where you need to start. The old saying, small habits or small hinges swing big doors, is absolutely true when it comes to your health and fitness. And so every day you're going to be faced with different choices. The best habit you can have is one habit, going right to the third thing I want to talk about. And the one habit I want to give you today is just this. It is one breath. A little breathe in, breathe out. So you're going to face so many challenges and choices during your day, and a lot of them we're going to fall into the way that we've answered those challenges before. So if someone says, hey, you want pizza? You automatically will say, yeah, I want pizza. Do you want to have this cake? Yeah, I want this cake. Do you want to sleep in this warm bed and not get up and do your exercise? Yes, that's the habit I established yesterday, so I'm going to continue doing that small habit. And those habits add up to the opposite direction of what you've seen those top performers do. It leads you down the other road. So when you're faced with those challenges, to snap yourself out of that habit loop that Charles Duhigg writes about in Power of Habit, snap you out of that habit loop is to take one breath so you're not automatically shooting from the hip with your answer. And all it does take is one breath. Like, do you want the pizza? Intrinsically, you want to say yes, yes, yes. Breathe in, take a calm breath out, and then realize, you know what, maybe I'm going to say no today. I don't really need it. I feel full already. I'm not that hungry. Uh, this isn't going to help me towards my goals. Then you move on to the next habit, and then you move on. You move on to the next challenge, the next choice. And choice by choice, you just take a breath and then respond in a way that'll help lead you to the life that you want to live. So the tips for today are, don't get obsessed with seeing someone that's a high performer, because understand they've had a lifetime of making right choices to be able to get them there. Don't get demotivated by that. Or don't use that as an excuse to have a lifetime of choices leading you the other direction. And the one habit that you can use starting now to make the right choices towards your goals is to take one breath. So you calm your brain down and you force yourself out of that automatic decision mode into a more cognitive, more deeper thinking mode where you can answer and respond in a way that'll suit you and your life. And the last point I want to make is, understand that if you see someone, I'll use trainers for example, if you see one of our trainers like accomplish a great lift or a great feat of strength, they've had the lifetime of habits leading up to it. You might see that one event, but they've had their nutrition on point, they've gotten enough sleep, they've been able to de-stress, they've been on training programs that have progressed to that one moment. But also understand that can fall apart. So if we hold up that idea of, let's say I go in and accomplish the 600-pound deadlift. Well, 4 months down the road, I could lose that if I stop paying attention to the small habits and I'm not eating right and I'm not sleeping right and I just accomplished it and now I fall back too. So if you put the emphasis on the small habits and choices on both ends of the spectrum, it's going to serve your life much, much better. And that's why we call this podcast Synergies Accidentally Fit. Because if you do the small habits, then one day you'll put on that pair of pants from last season and you'll be like, wow, I didn't even know about this weight I lost, because you see yourself every day. And it's almost like you become accidentally fit. So thank you for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you. I wanted to give you those 3 thoughts on habits today. And I think if you focus on the small things, you take the breath, which is the tactical thing I want you to work on, you'll be able to start accomplishing and seeing the results you want at a much quicker pace. If you have any questions, make sure you post them around the podcast, subscribe, and do me a favor, because we do this without ads or anything else. Give the podcast a little review and share it with your friends if you have found this information helpful. I'll talk to you soon on the next episode.